So you took off of work until September of that year. So that was about 6 months. You got to be home.
Yeah.
What was it like for you going back to work? How was
It
that?
was horrible. No, I mean,
Yeah, tell us about these challenges that you had going back to work.
I'm so lucky because I genuinely love what I do.
Yeah.
I'm a hairdresser and I love to make people feel good and I love to make people look good and I'm artistic. So I get to bring that like artistic part of me out. Um, Going back to the salon, I work with 12 other girls, one guy, and we're really close and we have a really great like work atmosphere. I've been there for 12 years. So they all know me really well. They were actually one of the groups that came to the funeral that was shuffled in because I'm very close with them. So before returning to work, I had everybody kind of tell all of my clients, people were doing my clients for me because I wasn't there, obviously. And they were telling them the story. They were also telling their clients the story. I just wanted everyone to know so that I didn't have to come in and tell the story. But that was my thought process. That was, okay, this is going to make it easier because obviously what I do for a living, I talk all the time.
Yeah.
I'm close. I have relationships with all of my clients in different ways. And, I didn't want to have to talk about it. So then finally going back into the salon, people felt really like they had to say something. It was not just,
right.
like some people kind of were just, it was just awkward. The whole thing was just awkward. They don't want to say anything. They want to say something because they feel like they need to.
Yes.
It's such a mind game. You're just like, okay. So, and then of course there's some people that, I see that I'm like close with that know me like, and I see them and I start crying. I mean, it's like,
yes,
reliving this over and over and over again.
That's your day over and over. It's a social environment. It is. So you're friends with these people. These are your clients, but they've become friends. And of course you're going to talk. And of course they want to say something because they love you,
Right. And it's and now we're talking, this is how many months after he passed. So, I'm in a different place. The things that I did to be able to come back to work, to get to this point where I'm ready to be in a social setting, not a lot of people have to get back into that part of it. It's like, you're kind of on like this stage when you're walking in, everybody knows you, this is like a little community of like people that, and now everyone knows your story. So now you're like, okay, I walked into the salon, it was every day. I mean, for months and months where it was like, so I eventually what I did to kind of, resolve this problem was I had to start coming up with a speech of like what I was going to say and how I was going to say it. And, if it was a day that I really didn't want to talk, I made it very clear. Like, it was kind of like, I'm not feeling too great about the Jay situation. Like, let's talk about you or whatever it was. But I would take a second to think, okay, Jess, this is what you're going to say to somebody, because honestly, like if you're more prepared, then it's not so shocking when it comes out of your mouth, and you're not going to say something that you don't mean, and you're not going to say something out of your anger or whatever, because they don't mean it. And like, you don't want to make them feel bad. Like, they don't mean anything by any of it.
But some days you might be in an okay place to be able to talk about it. So you maybe have your little speech for that time. And then there's other days when you are not feeling it and you have to have your canned response that you can say to kind of not offend people with your answer. But yeah.
But also like, mind your business.
Right.
You're just like,
oh God, because the people... there's that, and then there's like the really sincere people, and then there's just the people that are just curious, and you can tell, and you're like, I don't need to tell you that story, like,
and also it. You're just trying to hear it from me now. You already know,
right?
So
yes, they were already told what
Yeah. So
your situation was. Oh
it
my
was
God.
crazy. It was crazy. But like as the time passed, now it's really different because like mostly everybody knows I may get a new client here and there and it'll come up in conversation. It's this cloud that kind of hangs over you. You don't want to not say anything, but you
Yeah.
don't like this is not what defines me as a person, but this is such a big part of my life. So when I am sitting there talking about my son, and I'm telling things that we did, like, are they thinking, where's his dad?
Yeah.
And that always just bothers me because that's just like, I just want to be like, well, this is what happened, just so you know. So like we don't
Right.
have to have any awkward,
Right.
encounters with it. Because the same
I
thing with
know.
like dating. It's like, what do you do when you tell somebody, like when you first go, like, do you tell them right in the beginning? Do you say, I find it a lot easier to be like, yeah, I'm a widow, I have a 2-year-old. So
Yeah.
that's it. Figure it out.
Figure it. Throw it out there.